I'm leaving Logan to catch the T. My destination, Blueberry Street. Yeah, I'm in Boston, and it feels so good. I'm so excited. I got my tickets to see the Pats play, and then the Celtics, and a Fenway game, and it feels so good. And it feels so good. So good, so good. We bump our fists up in the air. So good, so good. We're living proud, so we shout it loud, and it feels so good. We spend the summer down at the Common, and in the winter we cheer the Bruins. The weather doesn't make the city, it's the people, and it feels so good. And it feels so good. So good, so good. We bump our fists up in the air. So good, so good. We're living proud, so we shout it loud, and it feels so good. And it feels so good. So good, so good. So we never really care. So good, so good. And we work all day and we play all night, and it feels so good.
Well, on a Friday night, we'll chill, start a fight. Yes, you bash a bottle right off your head. She'll give you a smile while you talk for a while, but you're never gonna get in her bed. She's got a body of a goddess, mind like a man. She'll always tell you where she stands, 'cause she's been drinking with the boys, talking about them dirty things that she enjoys. She wears her shirts real low, her skirts real high.
Good morning, everybody, my fellow motherfuckers. How are you? Another wonderful daily Pissah morning show edition. I fucked that up, right? Anyway, how are you? Hope you got your coffee, your drink, beverage, whatever your beverage of choice is today. And again, I'm Bumpa, and of the great Wicked Pissah Show. We will be on tomorrow night, about 8 p.m. We get the whole crew back together for a great show. Patty has been putting all kinds of content together. Hopefully Byron and he have been putting a little something together. But we got a great show coming up tomorrow night. That'll be great. The Wicked Pissah Show. Follow us on Facebook. You'll know as soon as we go live on that show. So what is new, everybody? How have you been doing? I know it's only been a little over 24 hours. Well, I'm on a late morning today. This is a morning show. There's no time frame. It's anytime before noon is morning. All right, so deal with it. That's just the way it's going to operate around here. But anyway, we talked about a bunch of stuff yesterday. A few things I have from yesterday I might hash on again today because I can find a little more information on stuff. But as always, I got plenty of cool little topics that I like to add my little 2 cents in. I hope you join in the conversation. Please say hello in the chat room if you're on whatever platform you're on. We are on Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and a couple of others. So definitely chime in if you can. Say hello. I'd love to know who's here. If you do catch it on a replay, also comment in the feed, whatever you can. Some platforms you can't, like on Facebook you can. Just say hello, checked out, that's all. But what do I got here? Oh yeah, strike out, the minimum wage. Now, I've harped on this a couple times before. A lot of people know my take on minimum wage. I agree people need to earn more. Everyone has a right to earn more. But, like, if you go through a lot of jobs right now, if you go online and look at jobs, there's a lot of supervisor or managers that are getting paid $15 an hour, $14 an hour for a supervisor or whatever. So now you have these positions, like I said, supervisor or manager, typically people experience in that position. So they've worked in whatever field for X years, and now you're going to hire a new person at a starting rate would have to at least be equal to theirs now, right? Because they're going to get bumped to minimum $15. So how do you change that? How do you put if they're making $5 more an hour now than their direct report, so to speak? Now, do you pay them $20 an hour now? I mean, that's a huge jump. People aren't realizing not just the bottom people are going to get a bump. Those people that are already above minimum wage, or at least the current status of minimum wage, will get bumped too. This is massive. I mean, you're just looking at, if we go from, here in Massachusetts, $12.50 or $12.75, it's already pretty decent. To $15 an hour, that's a couple bucks, $2.25. But, other states are still $7.25. Okay, so with that, you're going to give an $8.75 pay raise, $8.75 pay raise, and just expect the companies can afford that. If a company that has, like, say, fast food or retail, they have a lot of minimum wage employees. But remember, minimum wage employees, 85% of them are part-time. It's not meant to be livable. And this stupid fucking fight about being a livable wage of minimum wage is ridiculous, because minimum wage jobs, like I said, 85% of them are part-time. They're not. You're not supposed to live off a part-time job. You have to maybe work off 2 or 3. That's just the way life is. But typically, full-time employees at any establishment tend to make a little more than the minimum wage. They're not making minimum wage or over minimum wage. Which then there's the argument, okay, they're over minimum wage. If it's $7.25, they're making $8.25, that's $1. It's still not enough. I agree. But again, it's a part-time job. You're not supposed to be able to pay electric bill, rent, and everything off a part-time job. I mean, if you can swing paying everything on a part-time job because you manage to get $40 an hour, fucking great for you. I wish we all could do that, right? Everybody would want to do that. But it's just it's a fact of life. It's not going to happen. So, but going back to that, they tried to throw it into the $1.9 trillion COVID package, and the what do they call it? The Senate parliamentarian. She basically kind of interprets the laws, he or she, it's a female currently, but rules on what the Senate can and can't do. And basically they rule that due to some vague language, that they cannot just throw it as an incidental cost into the COVID package. It needs more than just a majority vote. So rather than just over the 50-50 split, they need more than that. So they have to actually come up with a real bill, a real suggestion of how things will be, finance it, which, a lot of it going to private companies, that doesn't bother, that could affect the U.S. budget. What does affect the U.S. budget is U.S. federal employees that are making a minimum wage. And, so again, if they have a lot of employees at minimum wage, then why are they paying minimum wage? Well, they should jack up their own pay rates, But again, they're going to shove it up everyone else's ass. And people think, that's not going to happen. Everyone said you get a pay raise, burgers are going to be $5 each instead of whatever, like a McDonald's burger or $1.49 or whatever. You're going to be paying $4 for it. No, right now, if you get a pay raise, a minimum wage, like I've said, every year you get that increase will be like what, depending on the state, 10 cents, a quarter, 50 cents at most, right? That when they did do increases. So they say that inflation doesn't follow. Yeah, because you're only raising it just cents. We're talking several dollars. Inflation will follow. And the biggest point I bring up all the time is, what about those people already getting over minimum wage? And when I say over minimum wage, not only the current minimum wage, but the new minimum wage. Okay, so say the new minimum wage becomes $15. Someone's already making $15 or $16 an hour, but they worked years to get to that point, right? They worked, they put in extra training or college classes or whatever to get to that position. And now you're going to hire some newbie right under them and pay them the same? That's fucking bullshit. And, but people say, well, the companies obviously have to pay them more. Again, you're doubling their fucking wages already from the minimum wage people. You're going to increase them big time, and then you want to increase everybody else that trickles up. Massive expense. You're not thinking that one out. And who's going to pay? The consumer. When here in Massachusetts, New England, we have Hood milk, right? Say Hood, right? HP Hood. They make milk, all kinds of other dairy products and stuff. So the company that employs people at the warehouse, the distribution center, whatever, now they have to pay their employees more. It's costing more. That brings up the cost of each gallon of milk or whatever product in the world is, each item up more. Who's going to pay for that? You, the customer. Of course. And like I said, we're not talking just 10 cents where the company could absorb it. We're talking dollars, several dollars where that will really have an impact on a product. Where you raise an employee's wage 10 cents, 25 cents an hour. No, that's when you spread it out over thousands of gallons of milk each day or whatever. No, that's nothing. That's a fraction of a penny. But now when you're talking dollars are cents that add up. Then it's going to be more than just a fraction of a penny, especially when it's multiple employees. And then, like I said, trickling on up, everyone's going to get a bump. So when your operation now becomes $1,000 more per hour to operate, that goes into each fucking gallon. And who's going to pay for that? The customer. So that's just something I keep chiming on. I know it's like beating a dead horse, but that's always my 2 cents on that. If you have anything to chime in on about that, please throw it into the chat here. I'd love to see whatever anyone else's opinions are on that. The parliamentarian, she decides she serves at the Senate Majority Leader's pleasure, but she's been in office or in her position since 2012. Makes about $171,000. My kind of pay. Now, we touched base about this asshole yesterday. Oh, no, I'm out of sorts. How did I get out of sync? I got out of sync? Okay. Oh, I know. All right, let me move that over there. There we go. Domestic violence, as you may or may not know, is on a huge spike right now because of COVID. People are stuck at home with their significant other they don't want to be stuck with. And that creates problems. But there's also problems of isolation, loneliness, things like that. In this particular case here, it is kind of a sad case. Those dogs you see there are Kirby and Daisy. That's Kirby, the all-white one on the left, and Daisy, the black and white one. Kirby and Daisy are pets of this woman, Sarah. We'll just leave. I don't want to put her last name. We'll just say Sarah. And Sarah had met a guy on Bumble. Now, this guy kind of goes back to everything else. People use Tinder. There's Plenty of Fish, whatever those sites are. To meet somebody. And this guy turns out to be a super douche. Doesn't let her go anywhere, talk to anybody. Made reference that he had made his previous girlfriends and her family disappear. So she was under the influence that he would kill her, a family. He abused the dogs often and ultimately killed these 2 dogs. She eventually did break free after several months. She's a teacher, and she was working from home, like a lot of them, and would just does Zoom classes. That's it. So she hadn't got out much. She did get out though, so she wasn't quite prisoner. He kept tabs on her or whatever. And she at one point wanted to make a plan that she was going to drop a letter at a supermarket to have to get sent to her mother for help. But if she got to a supermarket, she could have. And again, I'm not the victim, and I know there's a lot of mental stresses involved here when you live in these controlling situations. But you would think that the average person, I recognize it, but the average person would just think that. Just run for help. Why just ask the cashier? Hey, say my boyfriend, holds me prisoner or whatever. I don't know. There's so many different things you could have done, but you're not in that person's shoes. You don't understand what's going on, and I recognize that. It's just sad though because you see it. It's like, especially as a victim, they speak on it. They know exactly what's going on, but they're just too afraid to make that jump. And it's all about because of, in this particular case with the COVID, people were not, there's nowhere to go during this time, the height of it. She didn't want to see her parents. Her parents are older, so she didn't want to, risk them getting sick, which is, a lot of people have that issue. A lot of people wouldn't travel, even though they are healthy and safe. They might have elderly parents or relatives they care for, and they don't want to risk them being exposed. So a lot of people just minimize their own exposure for everyone else's benefit, which makes plenty of sense, right? So she finally did get help. She went to local police, and also a domestic violence advocate helped her out. But there was some great information about the animals. Yes, 71% of pet owners that enter a women's shelter reported that their batterer had injured or threatened family pets to coerce, control, or intimidate them. Because people love their pets, especially women, but, men are victims too. Obviously not as many, but there are plenty of male victims in domestic violence. I've seen it firsthand, guys taking slaps and beatings from their woman, because they're a real good guy is not going to hit a woman back, or hit a woman, period. Never mind hit her back either. Not going to hit her. So a good guy would never hit a woman, period. And the same thing with a woman. A good woman would never hit a guy. But again, there are women that have no problem slapping their man, punching their man, whatever. And it's a big issue as well. But they do use the animals to coerce them, especially, like dogs and cats are, our best friends, so to speak. Especially they're very, to some people, they're very important. They are family to a lot of people. So like I said, Sarah did finally get help. She said that planning her escape was very empowering, but she had a hard time making that push, that jump to actually do it. There is a national domestic violence hotline. You can look it up. I could put it here, but you still have to look it up and write it down. And if you need this help, you're not going to write it down. But you can always just pick up the phone, any phone, and dial 911, and trust me, someone will come. Just explain what you're dealing with. Someone will come. And if, say, you don't want them to come to the house, hey, can I meet you down at the park or whatever, they'll do that. Police are more willing to help you out than you know. And a lot of things what people don't realize is the real power is in the hands of the victim. That is where the real power is. If you're a victim, you have the real power, because in most states, if not all, what you say is golden. So many people are stuck on back in the 80s and early 90s where, before a lot of the law changes, you had to be beaten up, basically. You had to be all battered and beaten when the cops came to the door for them to believe you. No, now you don't. You don't. You just, in most states, where a victim says, hey, he hit me, he pushed me, he did this. That is gold, okay? That is your word, a witness, as a victim, your statement is gold. However, what a lot of people don't understand is there's verbal, I'm going to say verbal assault. There's no such thing as verbal assault, okay? Yes, somebody might talk to you in a very demeaning way, put you down, and use, psychological things. There are ways of, quote, mental abuse, certain things like threaten to, hurt your family or do this to you or whatever. However, a lot of the actions of profanities, fuck you, fuck that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's always verbally assaulting me. Verbal assault is not a crime. Talking, calling you bad names, not a crime. Swearing to you is not a crime. I think a lot of people don't understand that. And it sucks. It's not right. But it's just because someone tells you to go fuck yourself, it's not a crime. You're a bitch. Not a crime. You're an asshole. Not a crime. You're a piece of shit. Whatever. Not a crime. If you go over there and don't clean those dishes, I'll fucking kill you. Crime. Okay? Threat to commit a crime. Or anything, you know what? If you don't do that, you know, I'm not going to let your kid do this or this or that. I'm not going to let the kid do this. So that then becomes a form of abuse, you know, mental abuse. But verbal assaulting, sorry, there's, you know, verbal assault, it has to be just that assault. So it has to be that threat to do something to you, which if it's a threat to hurt you, that's already covered under what they call threat to commit a crime, which is in most states something similar to that, making threats of any type of nature to commit a crime, and that involves hurting a person, because that's a crime to hurt someone. Then that is a crime. But to tell you to go fuck yourself, this or that, that's not a crime. Sorry. But so people, when you start shouting about, oh, I was verbally abused, blah blah blah. Why? How are you verbally abused? A lot of people say, oh, he started swearing at me. Blah, blah. Swearing is not verbal abuse. I'm sorry. It's not. If you don't like to talk, the language, oh, well, that sucks, I guess. But it's not against the law. It's not, and it's not like assault, as you would say. So, this one, connecting with this thing, this domestic stuff, is this guy here. How not to be a douche, and thank you, Patty, for this one. This couple went on a date, 3 dates, didn't work out. A woman, who's a hairstylist in Milwaukee, only identified herself as Alex. She's a Twitter. She posted a Twitter thing here. Alex Coldbirth. She dated this guy for, you know, they went on 3 dates, didn't work out. He then texts her, messages her, or tweets, as you see, this, right? So, hi Alex, hope you're doing well. Would you mind letting me know what your Venmo is? And I'd be like, huh? So the reason I ask is, since you and I won't be seeing each other anymore, it's only fair to ask for equal payment from the dates we went on. I believe it was 3 separate times we went out to bars, restaurants, where I paid for us both each time. I'd say $35 is more than fair for your food and drinks that I got you during those. Now, is that ballsy or what? You know, I mean, is that like a piece of shit move? You know, I think it is. Is that, you know, I don't know. So he says that's more than fair, the food during those times. I view you as a fair girl. I hope you'll consider reimbursing me. You took her out on a date. Why is she going to pay you to take her out on a date? Sorry, it didn't work. That's your fucking fault. It's your fault you're a douche. It's your fault, you know, whatever, for whatever reason, you didn't have that chemistry. Now you want her to fucking pay for that shit? Fuck you. And, you know, I'm a guy. Trust me, you know, I'd be disappointed if I paid and, you know, hey, we didn't hit it off. We tried a few times. We didn't hit it off. Fucking nope. Oh, well. And, you know, that's the cost of doing business as a man. Man business, bitch. Right? That's man business. So if you don't have, you know, if you don't have the magic to make it happen, you ain't Magic Mike. Shit. Oh, well, life's over. No, it's just fucking, oh, well, it didn't work. You never go back to a woman you dated and say, hey, can I have some money for the dates we went on? Fucking loser move. Total fucking loser move. Oh. Let me see. Anybody out there? Chat. Chime in the chat if you're out there. If you agree with me, disagree, tell me. I'd love to know if I'm the only one thinking this guy is a fucking moron. When you date somebody, you know, you absorb as a man, and then, you know, hey, if you're gay or lesbian, as the someone who courting the other, you asking them out. When you ask them out, you are paying. Okay, you want to go on a date with this person, you are paying. All right, so that's just the way it is. You ask somebody else out, you are paying. You don't ask somebody else out and then expect them to pay. You know, and then when you get on and longer into the relationship, you actually have a relationship, not just 3 dates. You actually have a relationship. Then things change a little bit, where you share and split some of that responsibility. But you don't. Yeah, where would you ever expect to to go back after 3 dates. It's not like just one, and you know what, I could barely afford that. If you could help me out, that'd be great. No, it's you went on 3 dates. She doesn't want to see you anymore. Okay, so you want half the money back? It's not doesn't work that way. It could because you. I don't know if you're trying to invest in getting laid that night or what. It didn't work, and shame on you for trying to get the money back. It's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. I thought it was hilarious, and it's just. But guys do that, and more than once. I've heard stories like this more than once, and it's sad as hell. Let's see what I got here.
The Wicked Pissah Show. Bumpa, Byron, and Patty Cakes. No bullshit talk radio. Wicked cool. Wicked funny. Wicked Pissah.
This rock star with no fame, the way it is for everyone.
Right? Now, we talked about this yesterday, and I know a couple of people chimed in on it. And, right, Cuomo, however you fucking say it. Cuomo. Motherfucker needs to go. Okay? And what I'm pissed about is that, first he took, they took offense to his apology. He gave an apology. He's, quote, never intended to offend. He thought he was being playful. Or he was just, the things that he did were just misinterpreted. I don't know. I mean, you are, to be, I guess to be flirty is still, especially in the workplace, and especially when you're the governor, you're the boss, right? You can't really be too flirty. You can be very friendly, but when you're flirty, you're putting your hands in places you shouldn't be, tapping them on the butt. You're not the football coach. Don't be tapping the players in the butt. And in some of these cases, he made efforts like giving little kisses, things like that. That's offensive to the victims, right? That's offensive because now the victims, you're belittling what they have held back for a long time, and I finally cut loose because one former staffer came forward. Now more came forward. And, each time one comes forward is more fuel for state legislators in New York to move them, to remove them. But what they are taking some of the powers away that they gave them during the pandemic, the expanded powers. But it's ridiculous. And I bring it up again because, going back to the apology, though, he put it as misinterpreted, it's just banter, playful, being playful, jokes, good-natured, unwanted flirtation. You shouldn't be flirting. As the boss, you should not be flirting, right? Oh, if you're the boss, if you're the governor, and you're flirting with someone in your cabinet, your administration, that's not right. Anyone who serves under you, you should not be flirting with them. You're the boss. No flirtsies. All right? Like I said, you can be nice. Hey, how you doing? But, I think the furthest they should do, the furthest of any flirty, hey, I like that outfit on you. That's it. Don't say your ass looks good. Wow, that's make comments on their weight, or you look like you lost weight, looking really good. Because you're looking at them the wrong way. That's problematic. All right, you're the boss. You shouldn't be doing that shit. But now I bring it back up again, not only because of some of his apologies are offensive. Lindsey Graham came out also and said that, right here, I have it, did I put it on there? Yeah, boom, right? This is what this motherfucker, let's see, This motherfucker, Lindsey Graham, says, rather than jumping to the conclusion that he should resign, I think what should happen here is there should be a process where the people who make the accusations can be heard and he can defend himself. You know what? Like, I get that because sometimes, in the world of criminal court, people have the right to be heard, and the right to face their accusers and all that shit. But in this type of case, no, because not only about the alleged sexual allegations here, the offenses, but also the investigation of the FBI, where basically they found out enough that he has skewed the numbers, put a lot of people at risk. It's just, I think that alone, and even his apologies where he said, "Oh, I'm sorry if they misinterpreted." Well, right there, you're telling me that you were flirty with them. You shouldn't have been flirty. That is not conduct becoming of a governor. Am I right? Am I right? All right. The guy needs to go. He's full of shit. He's fucked up New York beyond belief. And he should not be in office anymore. Lindsey Graham, like I said, he believes that he should be allowed to defend himself. They basically try to drag, and the story goes on. He really wants him to drag it out like a Trump hearing or whatever. He wants them to be aired out in public and all that, which to some degree, like in a courtroom, that'd be okay. If the accusers want that. A lot of people didn't come forward until, like I said, that first staffer came forward. And then people, you know what? That at least it wasn't just me. This motherfucker's sick. He likes flirting with the girls. Boom. So more come out, and I'm sure others will come out. But usually they want to talk to a lawyer or something before they do it. It's a big decision to make before they do it. Depending what their job is now, they want to put something in jeopardy. They might, because they might have moved to another job thanks to him. Hey, she's great. Well, he got handsy with her for a while, but, at the same time, let her go somewhere else for a better job. And he very well could have had that, say in that. So, there could be others. They can't come forward. Yeah? But I just thought, like I said, he needs to go. A lot of people agree with me. And yesterday they were just fed up with him. They've been fed up with him. And now, I'm very disappointed to see that, Lindsey Graham came out supporting him. Not really supporting him, but like saying, hey, hold on, give him the benefit of a doubt. And while I guess, you don't want to, as he said, jump to the conclusion, I also don't think anyone should get back behind him and support him or try to give him. That guy needs to fucking tread water himself. He needs to get himself out of that if he didn't do it. But even from his own stupid apologies, he's admit he's done it. He's admit that he's done some inappropriate stuff, but without admitting it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm sorry if they were misinterpreted. He's so full of shit. And, guys like that deserve to be out to pasture, right? This next story is fucking retarded. This is nasty. Nasty. Oh boy. This comes out of, I don't want to say, if I was going to make a comment that's not going to be right. So, this comes out of India. Okay. Parents sell their 12-year-old daughter to a neighbor for marriage to fund another daughter's treatment. Let that soak in. The girl, who's 12, and this is not the girl in the picture here. This is just a random picture of a girl in a dock, all right? The girl, 12 years old, was offered by a neighbor to be purchased for about $136. So they have an older daughter who had a 16-year-old who had respiratory issues and needed some medical treatment. So apparently the 16-year-old daughter was worth more than the 12-year-old daughter. So they sold off the 12-year-old daughter for the $136 to be married to their 46-year-old neighbor. It's pretty fucked up. But parents were the day laborers, daily wage laborers, which means they get paid for the day of work, not by the hour. So, which is still shit. Obviously, if they sold a kid for $136, and so I guess over time, the neighbor has offered several times to purchase the daughter for marriage. So When they finally agreed, he took her and he married her and took her to a relative's house. Well, I'm sure they did that to do that night. That's just really fucked up. So then the deal came to when the deal became more known. Somebody notified the Child Development Services of India, which God knows how great that might be. They rescued the girl. This is just recent, too. They rescued the girl on the night of February 25th. Neighbors reportedly heard the child screaming and crying for help at night. Screaming, crying for help at night. Because, God knows what her new husband was doing. Good morning, Teresa. How are you? A 46-year-old man who has interest in a 12-year-old girl is pedophile. It's not like he just wanted a younger woman. He wanted a little girl, got the little girl, and it's a pedophile. He did what he wanted to do to her. She screamed for help at night. So neighbors went to the house. The idiot, the asshole, I'm not even give his name. The asshole admitted to the whole thing as if there was nothing wrong, though. He made love to his wife, right? What's wrong with that? He made love to his wife. 12 years old. He can't get it. Probably couldn't get anybody else. He had to buy a 12-year-old. Pretty fucking sick. So yeah, like I said, the investigators found out that she was bought in exchange. So the police have launched a case against the asshole. And in a similar case last year, a mother was arrested for trying, oh my God, trying to sell her 2-month-old son. That is messed up. Trying to sell a baby for $600 to raise money so she could move. And close your legs. I don't know. I hate to say shit like that, but it's so disappointing that people have children and just want to sell them off. And in this case of the older girl, the 12-year-old, basically the parents chose her 16-year-old sister over her. 16-year-old who had respiratory issues, so the $136 can go to help her, which God knows how much that's going to help. But India probably could help quite a bit. Just so disappointing and disgusting. And I don't care what country you're from, I just don't understand how that could be normal in modern times. I get maybe in caveman era days or, in a fucking 1500s, but in modern times, there is nowhere on this planet an adult should want a child for their spouse or to do dirty things with. That is a pedophile. So, I had to bring that up. Sorry. Talk shit, get bit. This is a good one. You guys are gonna like this. Let's try. Let's start with the video first here.
Now look, Jake. Let me see. I'm gonna knock you out. I got $20 million on the line. Let's go.
You want to fight for real? Let's fight.
I got 20 million, nigga. 20 million. I'm putting up. I just signed a new record deal. I'm putting the whole advance up on the boxing match. I'm finna call Floyd Mayweather right now.
Bro. But what's gonna happen when you lose? That's what you don't understand.
Bro, you not seeing me, bro. You don't got no hands, bro. You don't got no hands, Jake Paul.
Where your
I already beat your big brother up. What you think I'm gonna do to you?
So put your money where your mouth is, bro. Soldier Boy, I'm gonna beat your ass, bro. I'm gonna beat your ass.
You're not gonna do shit, Jake Paul.
So that is Jake Paul and Soldier Boy. Now, Soldier Boy, for whatever reason, trying to talk shit, he went back and forth talking shit with Jake Paul. Now, mind you, Soldier Boy is 5'8", barely 150 pounds. Okay, Jake Paul is a fairly big guy, jacked a bit. he fuck his shit up. So, although, excuse me, burping for my coffee over here. Soldier Boy, real name DeAndre Cortez Way, brought the fury by tweeting "rap game faker" and then WWE. So that brought the attention of Paul Orton. If you're not familiar with Paul Orton, it's the guy on the left there. Soldier Boy being the kid on the right, the rapper. Now, Soldier Boy there, Paul Orton, after the Soldier Boy's comments, called him out on Twitter. So Randy Orton says, "Fake, dare this prick step up. He don't like moves. Consider us actors that do stunts without pads 200 days a year and don't bitch when we get surgically repaired and come right back. Consider us 100 times tougher than any one of you come across. Ain't nothing but a bitch ass." Which can be true. Okay, now we all, as it'll go on here to explain, I think on the next one. Now he's referring to San Benito, which is Bad Bunny, another rapper, who is also in the wrestling world. He has been making appearances in the WWE. And he says that Bad Bunny would beat the fuck out of you. Why? How? Because he's in our world, the WWE. Respects it and knows what it takes and finds himself lucky to be part of it. You want to talk fake? Pawn that cheap-ass chain and come work for it. You one-hit wonder-ass motherfucker. Which again, going back to the wrestlers, we all know it's fake. We know it's scripted. But these guys, they do like a rehearsal beforehand a lot of times. And, there's no getting out of, there's no faking that being thrown up and flip and flop on your back. Yeah, the ring is somewhat absorbent, right? But, dude, you're still getting tossed around like a fucking rag doll. And it's still two large men, body slapping together, slamming. There's still a lot of maneuvers, and that's why they pull muscles all the time. They have tears, ligaments, breaking legs and arms. So they're constantly getting fucked up. So, yeah, it's not to be easy. And look at these guys. Most of these guys are fucking jacked. They're fucking monsters. The majority of them are over 6'2". They're all over 6'2", and basically chiseled, right? Chiseled, jacked. And would you pick a fight with one? Not many would. So Soldier Boy responds to the tweet. "Do you know who the fuck I am? I'll bring the real to pro wrestling. Don't play with me. Randy Orton, ? Right? Now, again, Soldier Boy's 5'8", 140 pounds. Most wrestlers could throw him like 15 feet out of the ring with one hand. This guy, he's thinking how it's, quote, fake, but he's not realizing that these guys are still beasts. These guys, they work out at the gym, both on weights. They're fucking acrobatic shit, basically, in the ring. And here we go. I love this part. Right? This is an awesome response to that by Randy Orton. "Crank That," Soldier Boy song, came out in 2007. You had a hell of a year. Good point right there. 2007. 13, 14 years ago. Okay, the kid has not been relevant for shit for years. Okay, he's still around. And in his video here, he said, he just signed a new record deal, which he's probably been needing because he ain't done shit, right? He might still be performing here and there, but he's performing the same old shit he's done. Well, anyways, so serious money, hats off to you, my dude, right? Here's that thing, though. I like rap. I bump that shit all day, whether it's Tanuki, Meek, Jay-Z, but you call what I do to survive fake. Fuck that. Come to my world and say that. Dare ya. And exactly, because the kid is fucking 5'8", 150 pounds. I don't think there was ever been a wrestler that small. There's been some small guys, but that small is midget shit. And no offense to the little people. Sorry. Little people wrestling. But yeah, that's fucked up shit. I mean, the guy, why would you taunt those beasts? You know what I mean? I mean, like, seriously, the guy is just, and that picture it doesn't of Soulja Boy does an injustice, all right, because he looks big in that picture. The kid is 5'8", 5'8", not even 150 pounds, like 148, I think it was, 148 pounds, probably less than that because he hasn't done shit. So, and he looks even skinnier than that. That picture there, he looks skinnier in the video, probably 140 pounds. You know, nothing, tiny guy, and he's trying to call out the big beasts. It's fucking stupid. I love when celebrities get their mouth, and I like Randy Orton called him out on it, and he did it in the right way too. Like first explaining all the shit they go through. I mean, think about it. I mean, God, most Americans, it's hard to get them to go to the gym once a week, right? These guys are doing it at least daily, if not, some can do it 2 or 3 times a day. Some will get up and do a quick workout, they have lunch, maybe doing a workout during lunch, and then before bed. I mean, these guys live and breathe it. Because look at these guys; they're chiseled. You got, you keep muscles that you didn't know, fucking jacked. But oh shit. So this is another fucked up story. I love fucked up stories. I hunt them down for you. And of course, this is out of Spain. All right, Spain. See that lady right there? Let's see. That lady is also a very proud mama of newborn twins. Yes. Newborn twins. She is 64 years of age and had twins. She, like I said, she's from Spain. She came to the U.S., had assistance with the reproductive part, and gave birth when she came back. Well, the local authorities there in Spain, they had a court hearing. They took her kids. Social services assumed guardianship, coming to the conclusion they were at risk. She's allowed to keep contact with the twins on the condition she was closely monitored by social services. They were, let's see, I'm trying to, I did read it earlier, but they put the kids in protection for, they think mom could not give the proper protection, which I guess it would be the definition of what the care is. And I think a lot of it is they saying the vulnerability of mom. Mom's so old, she may be a little frail. If she's frail, it's very hard to keep up with little ones, especially when they start crawling and running around. Or, I hate to say it, but mom could die in the middle of the night. Now you're leaving 2 infants unattended for how long until someone realizes she's not alive? She has to have a committed family member to come over and check every hour or something. There is a concern. There's a risk because of the, the mother's age. And she's fighting to get the kids back so far, but the country, the court there is not going to give in to her. So the mother has exhausted all of her options after the last ruling, which the court, she insisted is wrong. Court was wrong that the babies were always better with their mother. 20 years ago, ma'am, probably. At 64, no. They'll let her visit. She can visit them, no problem. It's, like I said, it's all those other risks that are a concern. She's she's that age where, like I said, I mean, she's older, a little slower. It's going to be hard to keep up with those babies, and detrimental to her health as well. Just like I said, she's at 64. I've always been, I hate to say it like this, I've always been a believer that once you hit 65, maybe 70, you're on borrowed time. After 50, you're on borrowed time, but by 70, you're definitely on borrowed time. Your number's coming up any day. Hopefully, you'll live to be 100. We all would love that, right? But at 64, you're pushing those limits, and a baby, it's just not right. And I guess I'm not one to say right or wrong, but it's she defined being able to have children at an older age is not a gift; it's an ability. Well, it wasn't really an ability if you went to the U.S., had them stuff the eggs, and you came back and had babies. That's She didn't have them naturally, which I don't know. I don't know what her situation is also. She doesn't have any, there's no mention of her husband or father. So, again, the only thing they cited was lack of protection, proper protection with the current mother. And it's because the mother is older. It's just simply the mother's inability to care for them properly. Like I said, a clear situation of vulnerability on both parts, the mom and the kids. But hey, chime in at 64, 65. Should you be having kids? Would you want kids? I doubt it. I wouldn't. Crimes, I go back, sorry, to the chat here. Crimes against children are both unforgivable. Both the parents and the neighbors should rot. I agree, and I hope they do. Unfortunately, a lot of older grandparents are raising their grandchildren. I get that, and it's not too often, but it does happen. You're right that babies or very little ones end up with their grandparents. But a lot of times, those grandparents, typically their grandparents at a younger age, like they go to live with their grandparents when the grandparents are 50. It's not too often that kids will end up with their grandparents in their late 60s or 50 or 70. But it doesn't happen, absolutely. But at a newborn age, that's a completely different ballpark. But again, it also depends on the grandmother, right? If the grandmother has another spouse, at least there's two of them in the house, that helps, especially with twins or another younger relative that still lives with them, things like that. There's a lot of things that can go into that. Some 20-year-olds should not be taking care of babies or children of any age. I agree 100%. There are 20-year-olds, girls have babies that are younger than 12. I mean, there are 12-year-old parents out there, which in that case, ultimately mom and dad end up bringing the kid up, while mom is still finishing high school, hanging out with her friends or whatever, right? So the grandparents tend to be more of the parents than the actual parents. But yeah, not everyone should be a parent, and it always comes to that conversation how you need a license to drive but not to be a parent. And, I think maybe there should be something of that, you need to pass a fucking basic parenting course before you can conceive. But if you can only wish you can control things like that. There's just no way to control it. People are going to get pregnant. And it's just sad that, because the wrong people get pregnant. And then you got people that try for years to have children and can't, and then they see people like you said, the 20-year-olds that shouldn't be having them, spitting out left and right. Some literally have babies just for more money. They'll love the kid, of course, too. But you know what? Another kid's another kid in the payroll, I like to say, for welfare or food stamps or something like that. And, there's a big food stamp abuse, which is huge. It's ridiculous. Shame on the doctor who did her procedure. I agree. And it's very risky because at that age, they could have ended up with Down syndrome. And, when you get that higher age, that ends up having that extra chromosome. And, there's a lot of issues there. You become a higher risk. You're higher risk over 40, I thought it was. I think at over 40, you're higher risk. 50, definitely. 60, I don't even know why you should why at 60 you having a fucking baby. And, yeah, exactly. Good. I think there's more behind the story, like mentally instability. Right. They got to be unstable. They're lonely. Could be another reason. If she's 64, she could have had kids. Her kids are grown by now. She's 64. Her kids are probably in their 30s. They probably didn't agree to her having kids either, which is why she came to the U.S. to have them, or at least to get knocked up. But yeah, you're right. Well, there's definitely something there. She's lonely, I think. Like I said, there was no mention of a husband, father in that. She's doing it all alone. So, she's very lonely. And she had grown kids who may not live near her either. So, that all factors into it. And you know what? What do I need? I need a couple of my own kids. No, you fucking don't. Get a dog. Get a dog, get a cat, plenty of them, go to a rescue. Every country has animal shelters of sort. But yeah, I saw that story and I'm like, oh, that's worthy of talking about, right? Oh, the getting your, what do we got here? All right, this is a little silly, like, I gotta mention it for people to be safe, close your doors at night when you go to bed. All the time. Even if you're not in that room, in that other room, close the door. Some people don't feel comfortable doing that. I get that, especially if you live alone. You don't want all the doors closed because you're wondering if somebody in that room. But at night when you go to bed, close your bedroom door, okay? Because explained here by the Dutch Fire Brigade, but it's common sense. I've heard this before. It's just basic common sense. Closing your door gives an extra barrier to burn. Okay, if your house is on fire, creeping up the hallway, whatever, that door buys you a couple more minutes of cooking time. You know what I mean? A couple more minutes for that door to burn, rather than those flames just creeping up into the open doorway and catching the wall and ceiling inside your room. So keep that door closed. It's another barrier for a little bit longer, and you can get to safety, hopefully. But in times like that, every minute counts. You need that extra minute or two to let the fire department get the ladder up. If they've been called, hopefully they've been called. But it's just a safety thing like that, and it'll save lives. It increases your chance to save lives, bigger chance to get out. So I just wanted to share that. I saw that and I'm like, hey, let me throw that up there. Be a nice guy and talk about safety. Because we did talk about domestic violence, and people should never feel that isolation in a domestic situation where your significant other controls you. A controlling person is a coward. Person that tries to control you, person that isolates you from others, coward. Very much a coward. They should, I don't know, those are the type of people that deserve to burn at the stake. Am I right? I don't know. Because I've always been a believer that a relationship is a partnership. Okay? You gotta communicate. I'm bad at communicating. I get better at that part. But not only communicate, you have to have just an open partnership. It has to be, you have to be open-minded. They have to be open-minded. You can't try to shut your partner out of their life. You can't be like, you know what, I don't want you seeing your parents, blah, blah, blah. Some might say that because their parents or a certain relative are a douche, bad news. I mean, in general, not just because her parents don't like you. That's not a big enough excuse. Valid excuse not to see the parents, or because every time they go over there, they insult her, or him, whatever, your spouse. They insult her, they hurt her, they do things to her, they demeanor her children, and things like that. Then that's a different excuse. But, just because they don't like you is not a reason to keep them isolated from their family or friends. Friends are like dogs. Think about it. Friends are like dogs. Friends know that the person you're with is a shithead. They know that you shouldn't be with them. And, they know. You listen to your friends. That they are smart when it comes to that stuff. And many people will chime in on that. Most people have seen a friend that know they're with somebody that they shouldn't be with because they know this guy's an asshole. This guy treats her like shit, and vice versa, him like shit, whatever. But for whatever reason, in their head, whatever, it's the mental, goes back to more of the mental instability. Everybody has a little bit of it, to some degree. You got to learn to see what level you can deal with. But people are just sick in the head that way, and they get this isolation, self-isolate, whether it be some people do self-isolate because they're scared that if they do go out to a family member that they shouldn't, that they're going to get the ramifications of that from their spouse. There's just so many different things. And, if you know someone that's in that relationship, do speak up. If you know your friend is in a bad relationship, make a comment. Hey, you know what? I'm glad you're happy. I hope he makes you happy. I just don't think I'm not 100%. You don't want to say in a manner that is going to lose your friendship. Just say, I've had questions or doubts or something. Bring it up. Bring it up because if by doing that, you might be letting your friend know that that the other person is not 100%. You know what I mean? It's not the greatest. So at least maybe they would look to you for help if they feel comfortable, because a lot of times people put up this fake facade all around and this little story tale type thing where everyone thinks they're super happy, they're super great, she's super happy, he's super happy, where it's not true, but everyone bought into it. And so then when it comes time that things are falling apart, they don't believe. They don't believe you. So you don't want to put up that false facade, especially if it's, you don't want people knowing that you're fucking miserable. I get that. You do need a friend or two that know the truth. And that's very, very important. So we're going to end that. We get last thing. Yesterday I covered Amazon. Amazon North Las Vegas, LAS 7 is called. It's the distribution fulfillment center, where they had an employee was pushed or fell to their death. So, like I said, I thought it fell off the second floor or something like that. Well, in actuality, they fell from the fourth floor. It's a big fucking distribution center. They fell from the fourth floor down to the first. But now employees are alleging that the company is using it as a cover-up. Apparently it was a suicide by an employee. So I don't know. It's but the employees are saying that it was a suicide, and the management's trying to cover it up. And to me, that just doesn't make sense. If it was a suicide, if I was a company like Amazon and it was a suicide, I probably would be more forthcoming that it was a suicide. Because if it was a suicide, well, from a company aspect, that kind of gets me off the hook. Because they didn't fall, it wasn't a workplace accident. It wasn't an OSHA violation or something like that. I'm not on the hook for an accident. This guy just jumped to his death on his own free will. There's not much you can do about that. So from a corporate standpoint, I'd be like, yeah, he committed suicide. It's sad and tragic, But, a lot of companies wouldn't want to release that information either, but I don't think it'd be a complete cover-up. Their legend is a cover-up. They also, employees express their dissatisfaction with the company's response to it. A lot of them complain about the pressures of the job. It's emotionally and physically draining at this job. No one listens to us, but we're trapped working there because hardly anyone pays around this much, and we can't quit. Again, that's where it comes to the fact that yes, they pay. You choose who you work for. And I get in some areas. This is Las Vegas. I mean, there are a lot of jobs in Las Vegas. Might be a little down now with the casinos hurting. I get that, but in typical times, there is a lot of jobs out in Vegas. But they're talking about how it pays very well, but basically the job treats them like shit, very demanding. I guess they're paid well because it is a demanding job. That's why it pays well. Amazon, they have a lot of other positions. They have the regular associates, the employees that do the fulfillment, and then each area is the place is so huge, there's different areas, right? So each area has the employees, and then there's a area manager, and then they have operations manager, and the operations manager oversees 5 of these area managers. The operations managers make $90,000 to $100,000, but they work their ass off. So, and the area managers, they make $70K or something like that. I mean, it is a good paying job, but you work your ass off. If you don't want to work your ass off, well, then you can go somewhere else, get a lower paying job, and you get what you pay for. You get paid for what you do. It's kind of goes back to like people want the free handout and everything. They don't want they want the money, but they don't want to work. That's what everybody wants. They want the money, but they don't want to work. And it's really nauseating. It seems to be a constant recurring thing. Everyone, they talk about they want more money, they don't want to work. Same thing with, I started off with the minimum wage thing. People, they want more money, they just don't want to work. Your minimum wage, again, 85% plus percentage of those jobs are part-time, not meant to be livable. You want more money, work more, right? It's pretty simple. It's pretty fucking simple. But they want more money to work less. It's like I said, some areas of the country is still $7.25 for minimum wage. Is that awful? Absolutely. But, if you're taking a minimum wage job at $7.25 or even $8 an hour, you knew that's what you're getting paid, $8 an hour. So, you can't just suddenly expect that, okay, well, you know what? They're gonna increase my pay, so I'm gonna make $15 an hour, and I'm still only gonna stay right here and flip these burgers. No, your ass is gonna work even more. Because if I owned a fast food place or a store, and I have to pay my employees 50 to 100% more, depending on what the fucking scale is, if I gotta half or double the cost of my wages, you're gonna earn that too, because at some point I might have to let some guy in the back go because I can't afford to pay everybody. And so when I cut him, his wages saved will cover everybody else. Well, I'm one or two employees less because I cut him and another guy, whatever, to cover everyone's boosts. So, but now you have to do those guys' jobs too. Keep that in mind. So, Amazon is a suicidal cover-up? No. Suicidal cover-up, I think it's the dumbest fucking theory ever. It's no secret that working for Amazon is a ball-busting job. It's all over. It doesn't take much to read other stories about it. Their facilities are huge. Anywhere from, they vary from 700,000 square feet to over 1 million square feet. Numerous, like several football fields, huge, gigantic places. And some of the issues that employees bitch about are bathrooms being like on a far end of the building or something like that. So it'll take them a few minutes to get to the bathrooms, so that they count that as a 15-minute break because they had to leave their whatever work area or station, go to the bathroom. It's a 5-minute walk to the fucking can and a 5-minute walk back, and then do whatever they got to do in there and then hustle back. So they'll cut that as a 15-minute break. So they said, whether the company actually does that, I don't know. That was some people complaining about that. But again, these places are enormous. Even if they were to have, a few bathrooms in it, still going to be a walk. Because, the fucking building's, they're not going to put a toilet right in the middle of the thing. It's going to be on the edges, right? So the fucking thing's 200 feet long, wide and, 800 feet long, whatever. So it is going to take a bit to get to wherever you got to go. But so Amazon pays well. You work hard, but again, this is no secret, and so people are trying to, this story, some of these employees are trying to assume that he committed suicide because of the job, the stresses of the job, which honestly might be true, okay, but that it's not a secret that Amazon job sucks, pays well. If you want to suck up a shitty job and get paid really well, a lot of people do. That's what makes the world go round, right? So, but covering up, if I am Amazon and know that if it was a workplace accident and, something wasn't right or I could be accused of this or that and going to have to pay so-and-so's family millions of dollars because of the workplace accident, oh shit, I'm fucked. But now the fact that it was a suicide, I'm on board. Yep, he jumped. He plummeted. And as bad and sad as it is, that's somebody's family, life, brother, father, whatever. That is somebody's life. For whatever reason they committed suicide. Maybe they got fired. Maybe they weren't getting the raise they wanted or something like that. Who knows? They've been busting their ass 45, 50 hours a week for the place, making decent money, but, they're just not happy. Or, the girlfriend could have just texted, "I'm breaking up with you," on his phone. That's why he plummeted. And it's just, all I'm trying to say is a suicidal cover-up is stupid in this type of environment. And they're trying to claim all these work conditions, which we already know about. Not a big secret. It's a demanding job. You work hard. Any place like this, whether it be Amazon, UPS, FedEx, or any other type of distribution fulfillment type, order place, it's busy. It's all about numbers and volume metrics. So, you're not getting paid big money to sit there and do jack shit. You're getting paid big money to have big numbers, be extremely productive. So that way it's very lean. That's how Amazon has that free shipping, Prime, and all that shit, because it only costs them a penny or two for handling each package and getting it out, because they go so fucking quick. So that's it. That's all I got. Have a great day, folks. I love you.
Until it's over, look at what we've done. There are times when things may get too hard. Just wanna go all in, just to get rid of your cards. Say the grass is greener on the other side, but you say that you don't know, 'cause you can't afford